Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm the Executive Director for Dementia Friendly Fort Worth. We are proud to offer this program with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and United Way of Tarrant County. And today, our guest is Peggy Spear with the Amon Carter Museum of American Art and the Artful Moments program. Peggy?
Hey, Gail. Well, thank you for that. All right, so I'm going to take over with my PowerPoint. And I have to say, well, it should say portraits, not winter. But I have to say, after, we were jumping off our chat last week, and Gail said, I hope they're Christmas portraits. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go in and see if we have some Christmas portraits, because I was just thinking traditional portraits. Well, sure enough, we have some really, really sweet. They're more just snaps. They're not necessarily staged portraits in our collection from some of our artist archives. So I thought, you know what, Gail, we're going with it.
Thank you.
Well, these are really fun to find, and they're so darling. So this is, we're looking at a photograph by a photographer named Clara Cipral. She's another artist we have her archives for. And this photograph is titled First Christmas. Any guesses why?
Yeah, we got a baby.
The tree and the tinsel on it and the bell and the baby both laying on the floor.
Sweetest. And look how engaged that baby is, just and sparkly at that age.
Yes, shiny bells and stuff.
He'd eat one of those icicles if he could get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
God, isn't it the truth? Just a couple of days ago, my 2-year-old, I thought I didn't have to worry so much about him anymore. He had taken an ornament and bit off the arm of a star. And glitter all around his mouth. And I was like, what were you doing? And then I went over to the tree, and there the star had been bitten off. Not eaten, just snapped. But so this particular photographer was, where was she from? She was working up in New York, but she was really known for taking these very soft, very kind of picturesque photographs. So it wasn't just she took this really darling picture for Christmas. This was really her style. And she was very well known at the time for taking these types of photographs. So there's something expressive, you might say, something kind of, some historians say it's kind of spiritual, where it's not, you're not just seeing the baby with the tree, there's something more happening emotively. Like, what kind of emotions do you feel when you look at this photograph?
It just makes you feel good.
It does. It makes you feel good. Just cheery.
The wonder of life.
Yeah, wonder of life, yeah.
I think it also immediately takes you back to your own experiences related to that scene.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dale. If any of you see, because we're going to see a number of pictures, and they all, I was sending them to my girlfriends through text messages. They all, it's like you see a part of your own childhood or your own family experience in every single one of these pictures. And these are from, the 20s, the 40s. It's just something about it. It speaks to everybody's type of experience. So do any of you remember or looking at pictures of siblings or even yourself? Do you have any pictures kind of like this, your first Christmas?
I think my cousin has all of our family pictures these days, but our family, that's the thing that drives me, is that's exactly the kind of Christmas tree our family had since from the time I was born till I don't know, sometime later. But we liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's a good segue, Don, because the next picture is the same family.
Oh, yeah.
And that Christmas tree, it's just, it's so warm and fuzzy feeling. So what else do we see in this particular picture?
Say again?
What do you see in this particular picture?
Pet presents.
Presents, yeah.
I'm intrigued by the paper, the decorative paper that they've put around the box the tree is on and around the wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never
Very
seen that
well-behaved children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this picture,
Yeah, in this picture,
right.
yes. Yeah.
She caught him in a moment. Well, there's only one little girl. It's her daughter, Nina.
Okay. I thought,
Sitting right here. It kind of looks like a kid. I thought the same thing at first glance, but it's like a bear or a dog with a bow tied around its neck.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the tree looks like a lot of trees we had. It's kind of like my father-in-law hated. She said because the kids just threw the tinsel on it.
yeah.
Yes.
Rather than one strand at a time, they just threw it on, and that's what that tree looks like.
Yeah.
So for several years, my husband has been begging for me to get icicles, except he keeps calling it stencils.
Tinsel, yeah. I've heard of that called that before.
Tinsel. It is
Tinsel,
tinsel.
yeah.
Tinsel, but
Stencil,
he's
yeah.
saying stencil. Just
Oh, stencil. Oh,
And I had several years ago, I had found some icicles after Christmas, and I bought them, but I didn't let him know that I had them.
Okay.
So this year I finally caved, and our tree has icicles on it this year.
Oh,
very good.
And it's a real tree.
Yeah. How many people have real trees, or were real tree families versus fake tree families? How many people would use real trees?
Growing
Real
up,
trees.
it was real
Growing
trees,
up.
but
Yes.
not, yeah.
Growing up,
Now who's a fake tree? Who has a fake tree if you have a tree up at all?
An artificial tree, please.
Artificials, yeah.
my mom always had artificial.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
My oldest daughter was allergic
Hmm?
to the evergreen, so we had to have artificial trees. And
Looks
she
like
grew,
Martha has a sequin tree.
yeah.
Yes.
No allergies with that one.
Oh,
Go
that's
with the
nice.
bird.
Does Woodstock try to pick off the sequins?
Oh, yes. Can you tell he likes it?
Yes, I can. Yes.
What I now with children and a Christmas tree, I appreciate that this tree is lifted, because now there's no worry that a branch or a limb will be pulled or an ornament will fall. This is a smart way to keep the beauty of the tree and the integrity of your children intact.
Yeah.
You can see a Russian nesting doll right here. You
Yep.
know, look at
Even
her
though it's a
dark
big-
little outfit with the
Even though
scallop.
it's a big tree, it reminds me of my trees growing up, because my mother was a school teacher. As a single mother, all we got was the trees that because they gave real trees to the schools at that point.
Wow.
And so she'd bring that tree home when school got out for Christmas holiday, and that was the beginning. They were always small, but they looked like Charlie Brown Christmas trees.
Yeah.
By the time they got home.
Well, and I noticed this tree feels compared to what you see at like the Lowe's or Home Depot,
Mhm.
or this tree feels not so full as
No, it's
compared
not,
to what
no.
you see
And
today.
that's what reminded me of that, because that's what our trees were.
Yeah.
They were the cheapest trees that the school district could find.
Yeah.
That's the
These
first
trees
thing
are
I
very
thought
common.
of.
Go ahead, Justin.
That's the first thing I thought of whenever Fisher first came on. That tree wouldn't sell today.
No.
Well, it might at the very last moment of Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the last one on the lot.
Well, and this one you can't really tell. It's like the way she took
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
photograph.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that must be. It looks like it could be a really full tree. And then when I was scrolling through, I was like, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah.
I think this tree is some kind of spruce. I remember.
I think so. It is. I think it is.
These were common in Illinois when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ours
she-
looked like that more when I was growing up than the other ones that we see today.
I'm noticing that it really looks like an artificial tree for several reasons.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a basin for water for the tree.
No.
We can see, it might be covered up with all of the stuff there,
Yeah.
Well, it looks like there's some sort of tree stand, but
also look how straight the trunk is.
yeah.
Oh.
That's not a real tree trunk.
Yeah. Actually, that's how those trees were. Absolutely.
They were.
Yeah.
They were very straight. I hate
Well,
to complain, but
we don't
yes.
know. We don't know. This is something that we
Yeah.
debate on: real tree versus fake tree.
Oh, that's a good that's a good
Well,
question.
1927 probably was a real tree. They didn't really have many artificial trees at that point.
Maybe they just didn't think you needed to water it once you cut it down.
Yeah, I wonder if
That's right. That's right. They put it up like Christmas Eve, and they're going to take it down the day after Christmas.
Of course, a lot of the stands actually had a lot of water bowl in it that was part of the stand.
Yeah.
And so it didn't have to have an extra bowl in it. It was just part of a little bowl in there.
Yeah.
So,
Had
I wonder,
spikes in the bottom.
I say that again, Dusty.
It had little spikes in the bottom where the
Right.
tree goes down into it, and then a bowl around it.
Yeah.
And the legs went through the bowl, you know, to hold up the tree.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got one in the garage like that.
It was
Okay,
hard
okay.
to
I looked up a little interesting fact.
Huh.
The first artificial Christmas tree made were from aluminum and were manufactured in the United States, first in Chicago in 1958.
Yeah. So this is a real tree. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and I bet they didn't put it up the day after Thanksgiving. Like
Right.
A lot.
Right.
No.
Oh no, they'd be dead tree before Christmas.
That would for sure be the Charlie Brown tree by the day Christmas got here.
Yeah.
When
My
we lived
best
in
friend. Oh, go ahead.
Brevard, North Carolina, there was actually a shop that had an artificial Christmas tree display.
Oh, cool.
It had all these different Christmas trees, artificial trees from all these different years. You know,
Oh, how neat.
the different,
That's
you know,
neat.
the flocking and the pink
Yeah.
and all of that. What was the rage for that year?
Cool.
And
Oh,
that's kind of
that's
a
fun to
neat
see.
display. Yeah.
My best friend told me that her grandmother the kids would go to bed, like her dad would go to bed Christmas Eve. He was one of 6. And her grandmother would decorate the entire house Christmas Eve, put the tree up, presents out, lights up, decorate the tree. So then when they woke up, it looked like Christmas had just come when Santa came. Did
Uh-huh.
anybody else's family do that? Could you imagine
No.
doing that as a
No.
parent?
No.
No,
But did
we
anyone
didn't do
else's
that.
parents do anything like that?
Um, they didn't put the presents out till Christmas morning. Is the only thing
Yeah.
they did.
Right. Well, ours were Christmas Eve because we opened up presents Christmas Eve. So
Oh, you did? Okay.
yeah. So they were under the tree before we went to church.
Okay.
Well, most of
Your
them, some of
family
them,
did that too.
some of them didn't arrive until we were at church. My mother had arranged people would come in and put them in there.
All that planning.
All that planning. Yep.
All right, now we're moving to another type of Christmas tradition.
Oh,
Cards.
those cards. Yeah.
So this particular artist we've looked at before on this photograph.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Remember a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, we looked at the Struce family on a picnic, and I've been able to get a little more information from the curator since then. So this woman was Struce's wife, and her name was Ethel.
Ethel.
And they met at a Valentine's Day party when he moved to LA in 1920.
Okay.
And they had one daughter, and her name is Barbara. So it's a little girl in the photograph. So Carl Struce, at this point, he was doing almost all moving pictures with the films in Hollywood. He's living in Hollywood at this point. But every year he would make their Christmas card. And so this was I'm going to show you, these are other Christmas cards he had made, of
Wow,
photographs he had
beautiful.
taken.
Beautiful.
No, they're just so stunning. And he
Yeah.
would decorate. But this is the only Christmas card in our holdings of his that actually showed the faces of the people in his family.
Oh, that's nice.
So did your family send out I guess really in the last 10 years, those picture cards that you would get just kind of like a postcard?
Yeah.
I mean, every year we get so many from college roommates and things like that. Did you guys do that as send pictures, or did you just send bifold cards? What would your family do?
My mother would send out the cheapest card she could find because that's all she could afford.
Yeah.
It was never a picture because they couldn't afford to have it printed.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours have always been bifold.
Yeah.
The old regular
with-
card.
with
Right.
some saying on it and something clever inside.
Yeah.
Do any of you remember the trend of sending the bifold card with the Christmas letter?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We still get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that for a while, but now everybody communicates through social media, and most of the time
Right.
you don't have correct addresses. Even
Yeah.
if you wanted to
Yeah.
send them, it would be difficult because you have to ask for addresses from everybody before you could send.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did that when we were on the mission field. We'd write a letter and then send it back, and actually our church would put them in cards and send them out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now you can find on different websites, it's, maybe anywhere from $1 to $2, depending. You
Right.
just upload a picture and you can have a little note you can add, or, a lot of people, at least in my age bracket, are sending, a picture of their family with then like the ages of their children, and or announcing that they're pregnant. And so those are kind of the news we get, but we're not getting, like Gail said, we used to get family letters, and now you're right, everybody's showing everybody else's business on social, so you can find out what you need to know.
Like wedding announcements.
Wedding announcements, yeah.
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 Save the date.
A lot of the postcard type cards we've gotten, Mary and Mary, and it's a husband and wife in their wedding gown with them.
Yeah.
Or save the date type of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's changed, but I feel like this picture of Struce and his family could very much be something you might get this year in the mail, with
Yeah. It looks,
the word
Absolutely.
here. And so I thought, again, this was taken almost 100 years ago, and it's still just as relatable now as it was then.
he was a trendsetter.
Right. He was ahead of his time, but he had the ability to print and manipulate film
Right.
himself. So he, some of that, and he was also kind of big to do in Hollywood. So he had the money, but he also had the skill that a lot of people would not have been able to do on their own.
Yeah.
And so you can see here other pictures he's taken.
Yeah.
It looks like here he added, these aren't actual people. It's like he went in with ink and added himself, his wife, and his little daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of paper are these?
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
What kind of paper are these printed on?
So these are all actually nitrate negatives.
Yeah.
Right now they're just in our collection, and they're about that big.
Oh, okay.
I don't know we don't have the physical copies of his postcards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now, this is another artist we have in, the last two artists we have their archives in our collection,
That's so
and then
cute.
this is the third artist we have in our collection. And, her name is Carlotta Corcoran, and she's a Texas photographer who taught at the Texas Women's University in Denton up until about 1968. So she was actually raised in India, born in Minnesota, raised in India, and then came back to the U.S. and stayed in Texas. And so this is not her. She never married, but she must have spent a holiday with some family friends. There's very little written about her family life. She doesn't have any sort of relationship with her parents. I think she was an only child. So these are just some sweet pictures she must have snapped one Christmas. But here is a woman and a man. You can see that this tree looks a little fuller than the last one.
Yeah, but it looks like the same general type.
Same, yeah, it does.
You're right. Like there might even be more space. So they found the same tree, just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
They have a train track.
Yeah, I know it's the Lionel.
Yep, there it
Probably
is.
the
Yep.
Lionel because that was the big brand.
Yep.
We had one like that. We never went around a tree, but we had one like that.
Yeah, cool. And
Hello,
can you see what's in his hand?
I see that you've joined us, Paulette.
Oh, yeah.
We
Hey, Paulette.
can't see you, but we're so glad you're here.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad I'm here too. It's been one Yeah, it's that word that starts with H and ends with L of a week. Let me
Oh,
tell you.
yeah.
Well, we're glad you were able to join us, and hopefully this will be a
Well,
fresh
hopefully I can stay for the whole program, but if I have to leave, it's because the therapist is at the door.
Okay.
Okay. So we're just, Paulette, we're looking at some old photographs we found in our collection of Christmases past from different people whose archives we have here at the Amon Carter. So this woman, Carletta Corcoran, is a Texas photographer. And so we're just kind of analyzing the different things in this that make it feel homey and Christmassy. And maybe you had some of these types of things in your home during Christmas growing up.
I used to develop my own photos.
Say that again?
I used to have my own darkroom, and I used to print and develop my own photos.
Very cool. So you probably then took maybe some different family events, might even have Christmas events you captured some beautiful pictures of.
It reminds me of a Leave It to Beaver scene.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From
Except
that era, too.
the man doesn't have a tie on, you know.
And a
Yeah.
Lord Cleaver always wore a tie and a coat, you know.
He's a little more casual.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
And
she-
He's in Texas, so it'd be a little bit more casual, you
Right,
know.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's got his Wranglers on, but he definitely has like a casual top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see in his hand, can any of you recognize what that is?
A Viewmaster.
Master.
Yes.
Viewmaster, yes.
So it makes me wonder if that's something one of the kids got for Christmas and he's just playing with it.
Or he's playing with it before he gives it to the kids.
Right.
Does
Yeah.
anybody else think his shirt looks like a military shirt?
Maybe.
Could be.
Could be.
Like,
Looks more like a I say, to me, not so much military, but a work, I say professional work shirt.
Like
Yeah.
a uniform.
Yeah.
Like a work uniform.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I was really drawn to her skirt. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a cat in her hand?
Hmm?
Is that a cat?
Yes. That's a cat.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So we've got this is all from the same Christmas. We've got, her names are Erwin and Marion. And then we've got
Hmm.
little children. So it looks like they're in the same house because that chair, you can
Right.
see the striped chair.
Yep.
So these must be the kiddos. We don't know if they're the kiddos of Erwin and Marion.
Yep.
We don't know who they are, but so can you relate to any of the things you see in this image?
Why are they putting a cherry down in the water? Are they pretending they're having a cocktail?
I was gonna say these look like virgin martinis to me.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell in the picture. It looks like it might even be carbonated. To me, I thought of like an
Yes.
early temple or something like that.
Ah, okay.
We always drank that Martinelli sparkling apple cider. We always thought like we were the coolest things going when my mom brought out the fine wine glasses for us, and we got to drink from those. So I feel like this is a scene you'd see at our house growing up.
Mm-hmm.
The image is the sister staring at the little brother because he did something wrong.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Or he's about to.
Yeah.
It looks like he already dropped his cherry, and
Yeah,
she's
Right.
like, "Wait,
She's
we weren't
you know,
supposed to do
yeah.
it yet." And
The
look
one
at
thing.
the little jewelry.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Cute.
But that little boy is very proud of what he did.
yeah. You know, the thing that brings up a memory for me is that Christmas times were the only times I ever got to see Marciano cherries.
Mhm.
Okay. Was there like a cocktail or a drink your family would make?
It's mostly used in some sort of salad
Oh,
Dessert. Yeah.
or a dessert or yeah. But
Mhm.
I was really addicted to Marciano cherries.
Now they're very common. You go to
make sure they were picked up.
every time you go to Sonic, you get a milkshake, you get one, you know?
Now you do, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Back
At
then
Dairy
it was
Queen-
hard.
At Dairy Queen, you only got it on a
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. Never in a milkshake.
Never a
Do
milkshake.
you guys
No.
generally dress up on Christmas Day, or were you a pajamas all day type of family? What
Oh,
kind of,
no.
what would you do?
Well, we were dressed up because we had to go to church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We were pretty casual,
yeah.
pajamas, and then we'd get dressed and go to my grandmother's house or something.
In the
but,
afternoon, like for dinner or lunch or
yeah,
something?
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I wouldn't remember if unless I saw a picture. I feel like I remember going to midnight. We went to midnight mass a lot, or the mass
Mhm.
Christmas Eve. So I feel like we didn't really ever dress up on Christmas Day. We
Yeah.
were pajamas, I think.
When I was first dating Myra, and then after I married her, I went with her parents they went to midnight mass at a Lutheran church. I'd go with them, and then they'd come home and start drinking cocktails and eating snacks, and then at midnight they would start opening some of the presents and eating food.
Uh-huh.
Well, we didn't have the drinks and stuff, but we had a Christmas Eve service, and then Christmas morning we had a service.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was always, there were always 2 services every.
Yep.
Would anyone open their Christmas presents? I know, Steve, you said you guys would open your gifts Christmas Eve. Did anyone do that Christmas Eve, or what would your opening present situation look like?
Both
Both.
Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Yeah. Did anyone
Ours was-
have host a big Christmas party that day? Like everyone came to your house or be kind of that
No.
open house where people were rotating through all day?
No.
No, everybody went to my grandparents' house, my mother's grandparents' house.
Okay. That's
We
fine.
always lived in small houses.
Yeah.
I do remember once though that a lot of relatives came one Christmas, and there were so many gifts you couldn't see the tree.
Wow.
Really, they had just covered the tree with it.
Oh,
And I
how
remember that
fun.
one stands out because one of my aunts decided I needed a doll, so she gave me a doll for Christmas.
What kind of doll was it?
It was just like a regular baby doll, type of thing,
Well,
with a pink dress on it, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
guess I was supposed to be a girl, Whatever.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah. That sounds like
Little
the.
turkey.
no. Anyway, all those memories, all
Well,
the
and can
memories.
you see, I just noticed, if you really look closely at this photograph, you can
Oh,
see
the
a star.
Star on the
Star,
top.
yeah.
Yeah.
How many people put stars on the top of their tree?
Not
Used
anymore.
to, but we can't find it anymore.
What about angels? We put an angel on our
Yep.
tree growing
We've
up.
done
Yeah,
that too.
stars
Yeah.
and angels, yeah.
Actually, I've got an angel ornament at the very top of our tree.
Perfect. Perfect
Um,
stand-in.
We have a set of porcelain Advent ornaments. So you pull out one each day, and an angel's on the top of the tree.
And that's fine.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What my best friend, the one whose grandparents would set up Christmas the night before, she's really good at making those giant bows, and she puts a
Mhm.
bow at the top of her tree and
Yeah.
oh, it's so beautiful.
I used to do that, but now we have a remake of spindle toppers that people used to use in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. Oh, how cool.
Glass.
Yeah.
So that's what we have, and
Tall and pointed.
yes.
Uh-huh.
And we broke one when our kids were in middle school, and so we were always on the hunt for them, and so now I have 2 that are identical.
Mm.
Because when I found them a couple years ago, J.C. Penney's had some retro Christmas decorations,
Mhm.
and they had one that was red, and so I bought 2 of them, so if we broke it, we would have a spare.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
special.
I think we've got one at our house. We've got one.
Yes.
Now, we had bubble lights when I was a kid.
Oh, uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I remember
That was
That's a
fun.
good memory.
Yeah.
In
I
fact,
always
I
wanted
think
those.
my brother still has them. He's got a lot of that old stuff. I think he still has that original set of bubble lights.
Do they still work?
Those are ancient, but they still work.
Bubble lights. You remember Christmas tree bubble lights?
Yeah.
My grandmother, I feel like Christmas tree decor is like one of those things everybody in the family wants, like passed down to them. My grandmother used to make ornaments that were, the foam balls with the sequin with the pin.
Yeah.
And so my grandmother showed me how to do it when I was a little girl. And every year I make about 15 to 20 ornaments and I just give them out because I think that's one of those gifts that maybe some kid down the road in another family might want them, because I only got one of my grandmother's ornaments and my one cousin got like all of them. And he was like, what? So I'm like trying to keep the tradition alive in a different way.
One thing I haven't seen yet in these pictures is a string of popcorn, because we strung popcorn to go.
It looks like this one has a string of popcorn on it.
Does it? Okay,
Down
maybe it does.
Underneath the arms.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Actually, because I can see the picture pretty clearly on my screen, they're like long, they look like those plastic beads. Some are long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe up here where I'm circling, that could be popcorn, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be.
But did you guys ever do like Christmas shows for your family or anything like that? Looks like these girls are being silly. And there's 3 of them. You can see all their arms, 3 sets of girls, 3 girls. But did you ever do like any sort of funny thing with your cousins or siblings in front of the tree for your family?
No.
I was the baby, so I never got involved with that. My brothers might have done it, but I was the baby,
Yeah.
You probably were an accessory in something they did.
Yeah, that's right. I was always accessory for everything.
When our kids were little, we would usually go to my husband's family's for New Year's because we were at our house for Christmas. And the kids, there were 4 of them, and there wasn't 3 years age difference between any of the 4 of them. Like it was year after year, 4 years in a row. And they would always go down to the basement and drag out all of my mother-in-law's old Christmas decorations and decorate the basement. And then they would come up with handwritten invitations in And my mother-in-law used to get so upset because they would drag all that stuff out and then she would have to put it away after they went home.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sweet memory.
Yeah.
I was one of 16 grandchildren, and we were all within 10 years of each other. So there were a lot of us. And we would go down in the basement, like Gail, your girls, your kids, and we would do put on a Christmas play, but then we weren't ready for the aunts and uncles to see it. And then it was like, well, now we're all going home. So no one ever saw our Christmas plays. Together these Christmas plays.
Talking about making Christmas things, I remember when I was very young, and of course my mother, being a single mother, had nothing. She decided she wanted to help us, and we used the I can't remember what it's called, the salt mixture, kind of make salt clay.
Salt dough?
Yeah, salt dough.
Yeah.
And we made a nativity set with that. We made it, okay? Now, it looked real strange because some of those figures didn't come out anywhere close to what we think of them. But that was probably the most memorable thing about it, because she kept it. That was part of our Christmas celebration every year. She didn't get rid of it, and I'm sure people commented about it when they came to the house, what a horrible manger scene that was. But, that was wonderful for us.
Do you have any of them still, Steve, or do your brothers have any of them?
I don't know if they have. My older brother might have some, but I don't know.
Those things are so brittle too after a couple of years.
They are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Well, my mother lost a lot of things in a flood. So she lost a lot of things, and so that probably they disappeared by that time.
Well, I've got one more photograph.
Okay, sorry.
No. This is our last one.
Oh.
And it's of a little boy, and the picture is called Christmas Day. And I just thought, you gotta end with the little drummer boy because it's just so dang cute.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this particular artist, John Albach, lived in New York City, and he was Hungarian, and then immigrated to the U.S. in 1921. And he was a tailor by trade. And so his tailor, he lived in the Hungarian neighborhood in New York City, and his storefront was on the bottom floor. Then he and his family lived in the apartment right above it, as is the case for so many, neighborhoods like that in New York City. And he actually was pretty well known in his neighborhood, and then later in New York City, for taking really wonderful portraits. And he would really just capture portraits from his storefront. So this is a picture he got of a little boy on Christmas Day walking by his storefront, and he just snapped his photograph.
That's cute. That really is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing Go ahead, Martha.
I bet the mother always knew where he was.
It's one of those
The whole
toys
neighborhood knew where he was. Jeez.
some of my toys my son-in-law would take away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My mom was like, "Does Thomas, my son, does he want to any sort of like drum or instrument?" I was like, "Do not bring that in this house."
Yeah.
Not yet.
we buy toys to irritate him for the kid, grandkids. Make noises, and if there's batteries in it, he takes them out immediately and things like that. Just doesn't like it. So anyway, doesn't fit his persona.
So the exact opposite of that is both of my kids, my daughter and son-in-law, are both musicians. They bought their son a toy piano.
Oh, how cool.
Oh, I had one of those. I had a real one too.
So
Well,
I think this picture is interesting because when you first glance at it, it looks like he has really funny looking ears.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was going to say, those are not his real ears.
I think part of his hat or his collar. But when
I think it's his collar.
Yeah.
Kind of looks
He
like
feels bundled. Yeah, you're right. It does look like his ears at first glance.
What'd you say, Dusty?
It kind of looks like an alien.
Yeah.
Little
But
Christmas alien.
he's happy.
Well, gang, these are the Christmas portraits that I was able to find from our collection. And it was such a fun conversation hearing all of the different traditions our families have. But now I guess we're on a 2-week hiatus, so please have a happy and healthy Christmas and
You too.
holiday
You
season.
too.
Yeah.
And we'll be back after the New Year. And the theme, January 6th is New Year's Day. So we're going to celebrate the New Year together after the New Year.
Oh, that sounds good. Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas to you.
Yes, Merry
Thank you all.
Christmas to
It was so
you.
good seeing all of you.
Merry
Be
Christmas,
healthy.
Say that
happy
again,
holidays.
Say that again, Peggy. I missed part of that.
January 6th is when we pick back up, and we're going to be doing, I think the theme I said was Happy New Year.
Okay.
So we'll be looking at some other, I can hear all about your crazy New Year's nights, because I know we're all going to be raging at the bars.
No, I'm going to be sleeping.
If we even make it to midnight, I know we'll be long gone asleep.
Some people say they're going to stay up to the midnight because they want to see if 2001 is better than 2020.
Yeah.
I think anything might be better than this year. So.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
All right, friends. It was good seeing all of you.
It's good seeing you, Peggy.
Thank you, Peggy.
Tomorrow, we're doing portraits, but we're doing totally different portraits. I'll see you then.
Good, because I'm going to be at
Happy
that one.
holidays.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
you. Merry
Thank you
Christmas.
so much for,
Oh, she's gone.
that was great.
That was,
It was
yeah.
a lot of fun. I'm glad she dug up some special Christmas portraits for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
All right, so let's see what's up for tomorrow. Dawn, you may already know.
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah. You already
Yes.
shared with us.
We'll
Oh.
know.
Yes.
He let the cat out of the bag before I got here.
No, you did.
You did.
So tomorrow is Cookie Conversations, and we will be making Divinity.
Divinity.
Yep.
So that will be a lot of fun, and that will give us a chance to talk about some more Christmas memories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.